26. No? We have done till text 25. Yeah, so let us read. You can unmute and maybe repeat after me. Na buddhi bhedam janayed.
न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेत्
Ajnanam karma sanginam.
अज्ञानं कर्मसङ्गिनां
अज्ञानं कर्म संज्ञिनः
Joshayet sarva karmani.
जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि.
So everybody can unmute and do it. Whereas we have to just keep it unmuted. Why do you are meeting again? Vidvan yukta samacharan.
युद्धान्
युक्त समाचरण.
Yes, thank you. So, yes. Virat, would you like to read? Robert, would you like to read? Robert?
Translation.
So
Oh.
as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities, the gradual development of Krishna consciousness.
Not to disrupt no, the mind of ignorant men who are attached to fruitive results of the prescribed. We should not.
So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties.
Yeah. Because if you disturb them without giving them Krishna consciousness, then they may just become irresponsible completely. So, and they will not be able to take it up. So, just working in the spirit of devotion, you should engage them in all sorts of activities. So that's how the gradual path. But there is one beautiful thing which Prabhupada will say in the purport. Read purport. Purport.
Vidais ka saver aham iva vedya. That is the end of all Vedic.
Cha, Vedesh cha. Yeah.
Yes, that is the end of all Vedic rituals. All rituals, all performances of sacrifices, and everything that is put into the Vedas, including all direction for material activities, are meant for understanding Krishna, who is the ultimate goal of life. But because the conditioned souls do not know anything beyond sense gratification, they study the Vedas to that end. But through fruitive activities and sense gratification, regulated by the Vedic rituals, one is gradually elevated to Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a realized soul in Krishna consciousness should not disturb others in their activities or understanding, but he should act by showing how the results of all work can be dedicated to the service of Krishna. The learned Krishna conscious person may act in such a way that the ignorant person working for sense gratification may learn how to act and how to behave. Although the ignorant man is not to be disturbed in his activities, a slightly developed Krishna conscious person may directly be engaged in the service of the Lord without waiting for other Vedic formulas. For this fortunate man, there is no need to follow the Vedic rituals, because by direct Krishna consciousness, one can have all the results one would otherwise derive from following one's prescribed duties.
Yeah, so see, this point Prabhupada clarifies. If somebody is intelligent enough to take up Krishna consciousness directly, then one can be encouraged for that. Those are not ready for it, then we don't have to disturb them also. Okay. But if they are ready, we can check the pulse, then we should actually promote them to the platform of Krishna consciousness. So then they may still be doing their prescribed duties, but they may be doing it in devotion, in following the principles of Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So slightly developed Krishna conscious person may directly be engaged in the service of the Lord without waiting for other Vedic formulas. For this fortunate man, there is no need for the Vedic rituals. Certain prescribed duties in terms of worshipping different demigods and doing something, these things may not be there, so required for the people in general. But if they are not ready for Krishna consciousness, if they are engaging in certain prescribed duties like that, we need not disturb them. Here's the point. I think we discussed this point to some extent. So, because one can have all the results one would otherwise derive by following prescribed duties. So the purification of heart is naturally happening when he's engaging in Krishna consciousness. Okay, the next verse. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma karta hamiti manyate. Translation. Yes, Prabhu.
Translation: The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature.
Yeah, purport.
Purport: two persons, one in Krishna consciousness and the other in material consciousness, working on the same level, may appear to be working on the same platform, but there is a wide gulf of difference between their respective positions. The person in material consciousness is convinced by false ego that he is the doer of everything. He does not know that the mechanism of the body is produced by material nature, which works under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. The materialistic person has no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Krishna. The person in false ego takes all credit for doing everything independently, and that is a symptom of his nescience. He does not know that this gross and subtle body is the creation of material nature under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as such his bodily and mental activities should be engaged in the service of Krishna in Krishna consciousness. The ignorant man forgets that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Rishikesha, the master of the senses or of the material body. For due to his long misuse of the senses in sense gratification, he is factually bewildered by the false ego, which makes him forget his eternal relationship with Krishna.
Mm. Yeah. So one has to engage one's mind and body and senses in the service of the Lord, Rishikesha. So that is the real thing to be done. But when we don't understand that ultimately it all belongs to the Lord, and also the body, mind, and our activities are actually driven by material nature. So it's not like it's our. So when we don't have the spirit of surrender to Lord, then material nature takes control over our activities. So one acts simply by the modes. So that's why he's saying that the person in material consciousness convinced by false ego that he is the doer of everything. He does not know the mechanism of what is produced by material nature, which works in a supreme Lord. Now, for a devotee who surrenders to Krishna, for him, the direction of the Supreme Lord is is actually in terms of devotional service, and the material nature will make his body and mind and words act. In a way that it is used for the service of the Lord, actually. So, like body still is product of material nature in the sense that 24 elements of the body will be there, and we have our gross body, subtle body, but these things will be spiritualized because it will be used in the service of the Lord, like that. And we also recognize that it is not me, no, it's not mine, it's actually Krishna's, like that, and let me use it for all Krishna's service. But this person has no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Krishna. Person falsehood takes all credit for doing everything independently. The symptom of his sign. He does not know that this draws was the Krishna matter nature. And under the order of the Supreme Personality Godhead, and as such, his body material should be engaged in the service of Krishna. And when you engage like that, then that is spiritualized. Your body, your senses, everything is spiritualized. Then you're actually attaining your natural mind and natural body, which is spiritual. So we have to very carefully engage our body, mind, and senses in Krishna's service, realizing that it is my faculty, which is to be used for Krishna's service, like that. Because what else we have? Whatever we have, manasa deho geho. That's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. No, manasa deha geha. Okay, home is there, but mind and deha, body, is also very, very important. So sometimes geha you can be used, but mind and senses, mind and body may not be engaged properly. This is our faculty, means Krishna's faculty, what Krishna has given us. The point is, if you engage your mind in Krishna's service, then you are actually, that's the best thing to be done, because this is what Krishna is looking for. Krishna wants your mind. Savai mana Krishna padaravindayor. So, because everything is related, when you connect, engage your mind, then that is something that's how that becomes the cause of your liberation. That becomes the cause of your becoming fully Krishna conscious. So, mind is a very powerful faculty. That's why Krishna so much speaks on the sixth chapter. If you can engage your mind in Krishna's service, you're actually directly purifying the consciousness. So that's why, when chanting also, we have to be, mind has to be there. Then it acts in purifying our consciousness. So mind is like the very important faculty. And when the mind is put in Krishna, then you can see that immediately, you are reviving your original nature. And you have that spiritual mind, and you realize that the same mind actually becomes completely spiritualized. And that's how you think. So you think through your mind only, right? So you have to, that's why they said so much that you have to think of Krishna. You think of services to Krishna, think of expansion of the mission of the Lord. So what do you think is very important? So we have to carefully see that how, and the way to make our mind think about Krishna is to read, the Vedic literatures, to hear, from the great souls. So they will change our ways of thinking. So our attitude, our thought process will all become refined more and more as we associate with great souls. That's why hearing is important, and hearing and applying the mind. So hearing with application of mind makes the whole process of Krishna consciousness perfect. That's how you become Krishna conscious. So remember that. You have to hear and apply the mind. When we are engaging in different variety of services, also our senses are engaged. So that also is very good, because that's how you can think of Krishna very easily. So you're doing it for Krishna. So that's why it's very favorable for you to think of Krishna also. So mind has to be brought. So, okay, in the beginning you may be just engaging in a senses, but that should help us eventually to bring mind also in Krishna. Yeah, and it will happen, but you have to consciously also try to think of the Lord, whatever is. What is that? Etiken prakarana mana Krishna niveshayat, like that. I don't know why I'm getting so much for not coming in the day. So ignorant man forget that the Supreme Personality Godhead is known as Rishikesh, or the master of the senses of the material body, for due to his long misuse of the senses of gratification, his facts is bewildered. So we will have our mind and senses which are going to be materialistic. Because misuse we have been using it in a wrong way. Yeah. So that's how that bewilderment will come again and again. But because we are becoming devotees, we are trying to hear and read and understand. So that way we can rectify our situation. We can rectify our situation. It's possible for us. Somebody left the meeting. Okay, Robert left the meeting. तत्त्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुणकर्म विभागयोः गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्त इति मत्वा न संजते. Yes, Prabhuji.
Translation: One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, O mighty armed, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the differences between work in devotion and work for fruitive results. Purport: The knower of the absolute truth is convinced of his awkward position in material association. He knows that he is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and that his position should not be in the material creation. He knows his real identity as part and parcel of the Supreme, who is eternal bliss and knowledge. And he realizes that somehow or other he is entrapped in the material conception of life. In this pure state of existence, he is meant to dovetail his activities in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He therefore engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness and becomes naturally unattached to activities of the material senses, which are all circumstantial and temporary. He knows that his material condition of life is under the supreme control of the Lord. Consequently, he is not disturbed by all kinds of material reactions, which he considers to be the mercy of the Lord. According to the Srimad Bhagavatam, one who knows the absolute truth in three different features, namely Brahman, Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is called Tattvavid. For he knows also his own factual position in relation with the Supreme.
Can you reflect on this, Prabhu?
My reflection is that a Krishna conscious person alters his state of consciousness so that he dovetails his daily activities towards the service of Krishna consciousness. And then he or she also engages his material senses. No, he remains unattached to his material senses, and he understands that the activities of the material senses are temporary and circumstantial. And then therefore he tries not to get disturbed by his material senses and material reactions.
So this point, that knowledge of the absolute truth. So why this point is coming? Because see the previous verse. Here this person is not having the knowledge of the Lord. And he gets bewildered by the false ego. Right. And he considers that he's the doer of activities, and he gets into varieties of some gratification as well. Yeah. So it's what happens to a person who is controlled by the modes of material nature and doesn't have the transcendental knowledge. So, and here the person is in knowledge of absolute truth. So, Hare Krishna. Yeah. So that's why the person who is in knowledge, so he will not engage himself in sense and self gratification. Understanding what is the meaning of work in devotion, what is work for 14 results. No, the clarity is there. Clarity is there. So clarity comes by transcendental knowledge. To say the knower of the absolute truth is convinced of his awkward position in material association. I really like this point. Awkward position. We have to know that we are put in awkward position. Like I am put in awkward position in this material body. Having variety of diseases, and all that. So one should be able to see that. Now everybody will not able to see that. If you don't have the transcendental knowledge, people will not think like that. People think, okay, I've got it. It will be over in some time. But we should be able to see our awkward position. An awkward position, material association. How we are affected, how we are controlled by modes. So he knows that his part and parcel of the Supreme Personality God Krishna. His position should not be in this material creation. He knows his real identity is part and parcel of the Lord, and Lord is supremely blissful and knowledge. He's eternally blissful and supremely knowledgeable, and he's realized that somehow or other he's in the material conception of life. So he should dovetail in his purest state existence. He's meant to dovetail his activity and devotion to the Lord. So that's why he engages in Krishna consciousness and becomes naturally unattached to the activities of material senses. So this knowledge becomes a driving force for him to actually come out of his conditioned state. So there is an urge to come out of this conditioned state and become Krishna conscious. That happens by transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge is such a wonderful thing. You may be having conditioning right now, you may be conditioned soul, but transcendental knowledge goes deep in your heart and it does something. And you get, inspired to perform devotional service very seriously. This is how it happens, no? This is what we can do to ourselves. This is how we can help ourselves, no? Even if you have heavy conditioning, you may be bewildered soul, you may be covered a lot, whatever may be the case, it may be difficult, in so many ways difficulties may be there. Somehow or the other, if you hear the transcendental knowledge, with some eagerness, with earnestness, with respect, you can see that the transcendental knowledge works, then so you can help yourself by that. You can help yourself. And so, if you want to really help yourself, then help yourself to read and hear very sincerely and earnestly the transcendental message. Hear from the spiritual master, hear from Srila Prabhupada, hear from the sincere Vaishnavas who are aspiring to go back to Godhead. That will become very powerful. That is our real strength. That will help us, because that's what it says, in pure state of existence. So he can see this and he can carefully then practice Krishna consciousness. So that's why those who regularly read here do their sadhana very strongly. So they will remain transcendently inspired to engage in devotional service. That's a natural outcome. So in his pure state of existence meant for daughter activities, understand this, and therefore engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness, because naturally unattached to the activities of mental senses, they are circumstantial and temporary. So you can be wherever, but you will not be going for some gratification. You may be in the land of America, where people are so much heavily, drawn towards some certificate active pursuits and all, but you won't be interested, if you're hearing properly and if you're sincerely, earnestly hearing, doing sadhana well, hearing the holy name well, then you'll naturally become disinterested. Yeah. That's a test of our real advancement. Yes.
Here, I think Brahman means individual soul, right?
No, Brahman is this only. Absolute truth, Brahma Jyoti. Where is he? Here Prabhupada writes, no? Brahman is three phases. No?
Brahman.
Yeah, so Brahman is Brahma Jyoti.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolute truth can be realized in three phases. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaniti, Shabdete. So Brahmani, Brahma Jyoti. So absolute truth, no? So absolute truth is Parama Satya. So absolute truth is Brahma Jyoti also. There is impersonalism. Impersonalists, they will be attracted to Brahma Jyoti. So he says, he therefore engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness and becomes naturally unattached to activities of okay. Just circumstantial and temporary. And you can see also that sensitive activities are circumstantial and temporary. It just goes away. All these objects of the senses and also flickering. Situation also is flickering. You may be put in a situation where you have a lot of comforts. Tomorrow it will be gone. Even you are amidst all the comforts, your body may not be fit to do. You may not be able to take do any some gratification. So it's all circumstantial and temporary. We understand the material condition of life is under control of Supreme Lord, not disturbed by all material reactions. Sometimes you are put direct. Sometimes somebody is put with relatives. We are very terrible. Terrible father, mother, or relatives. Sometimes somebody may have terrible wife, terrible husband. So many varieties of reactions of our own deeds will be, different situations will come. But a devotee understands ultimately Lord is in control of this situation. And is circumstantial and temporary also. So we can take it as the mercy of the Lord for our own deeds, because God is the sanction, is the supreme controller. He's put a situation. So let me execute my Krishna consciousness, learn my lessons, and go back to God. None of these situations will remain temporary. We think our situation to be all in all. Right? I am here and all that. Like I was thinking the other day in Boston Temple, say 30 years, 40 years before, all different set of people were there. Different management, different set of people, different temple, everything is different. So now it's different. So place is same, but things are different. So like that, situations keep changing, things keep changing. But we have to take shelter of the eternal things. That will remain with us always. So according to Srimad Bhagavatam, one who knows the absolute in three different features, namely what is called Tattvavid, for he knows also his own factual position in relationship with the Supreme. That's what. So transcendental knowledge helps you to understand your situation very clearly. Then you can very nicely perform devotional service. Prakrite guna sammudha sanjante guna karmasu tana kristavido madan kritsam vidana vichalayet. Yes, translation. Go ahead, Virat.
Translation: bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge.
Yeah, here Prabhupada writes very nicely in the purport some more thing also, like this our previous discussion. Yeah. So what we are reading right now is this is third chapter, right? So 17 to 35, this is Nishkam Karma Yoga to set the right example. That's what we are discussing. Right? Yeah. So bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant engages in themselves in material activities. Why do not unsettle them? Yeah, so okay, read the purport, then we'll understand better. Yeah, go ahead. Persons. Oh, Virat Pool left. Okay. Praveen Pro, can you read? Praveen Pro? You can read Praveen Pro. Is it possible for you?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Persons who are unknowledgeable falsely identify with gross material consciousness and are full of material designations. This body is a gift of material nature, and one who is too much attached to the bodily consciousness is called Manda, or a lazy person without understanding of spirit self. Ignorant men think of the body as the self. They accept bodily connections with others as kinsmanship. The land in which the body is obtained is their object of worship, and they consider the formalities of religious rituals to be ends in themselves. Social work, nationalism, and altruism are some of the activities for such materially designated persons. Under the spell of such designations, they are always busy in material field. For them, spiritual realization is a myth, and so they are not interested. Those who are enlightened in spiritual life, however, should not try to agitate such materially engrossed persons. Better to prosecute one's own spiritual activities silently. Thus, bewildered persons may be engaged in such primary moral principles of life as non-violence and similar materially benevolent work.
So you can see all these people now, because of their lack of transcendental knowledge, and they're bewildered by the false ego, they'll be engaging in all varieties of activities. Sometimes they may be doing some social work also, nationalism and all that also sometimes they may be doing. Mode of goodness. Or they may be engaged in certain mode of passion and mode of ignorance ways also. They are like materialists, they're engaged like that. So he's saying that such kind of people, those who are falsely identified with the gross material consciousness and full of material designation, so they will be engaging in so many varieties of material activities. And they consider body to be object of worship, religious rituals to be ending themselves, all that. So they're busy in material field. And spiritual realization is kind of not reality for them. For them, so all reality is material life only. So they won't be interested in that. They're saying that better not to disturb them, because by disturb them, they become disturbed. They'll get agitated and they will disturb your spiritual life sometimes. So one should be careful not to unnecessarily disturb them. This, one should not give upadesh to the murkh, the foolish, because that way you'll only get into trouble unnecessarily. It's better to be silent and continue our devotional service. That is very important. So sometimes we may have to do that in certain situations like that sometimes. So just silently continue focusing on your devotional service going. Sometimes situation may be like that. But Prabhupada brings a very nice point in the next purport. Is excess swift. Read the next purport.
Men who are ignorant cannot appreciate activities in Krishna consciousness. And therefore, Lord Krishna advises us not to disturb them, simply waste valuable time. But the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord, because they understand the purpose of the Lord. Consequently, they undertake all kinds of risks, even to the point of approaching ignorant men to try to engage them in the acts of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely necessary for the human being.
Amazing, huh?
So
yeah.
then this contradict the previous para that we.
Yeah. So how to resolve it, Prabhu? You should enlighten us.
I mean, I heard one time Radhesham Prabhu also telling that as the chain goes down in the disciplic succession, the mercy is more and more available and more merciful. That is one thing I heard.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, well, I also got this. I also got this kind of experience,
Which experience?
But
People were becoming upset and disturbing you only, right?
no, they didn't disturb me back, but I should. One thing I understand is I should also understand their material situation, and their willingness also. So
Correct.
yeah.
So usually what happens now that we have to take so Krishna is telling one stand. The Prabhupada is telling that, oh, but devotee of the Lord take risk, to preach the message also. So we have to be like, kind of little balanced person. Means we are not completely cold to them, and like a Moni Baba, we don't speak at all. With Krishna, maybe taking one stand in terms of saying that how the spirit of Krishna is that you unnecessarily don't invite trouble and agitate them, by which they may commit offenses, they may go away. So we follow that principle also. But at the same time, we look forward to see that these people can be also preached. They can also be given the opportunity for this transcendental knowledge. Those are willing, we should give them also opportunity. That's all it is. Because so this is what devotee of the Lord, they know the purpose for which Lord is saying like this. So purpose of the Lord is not that, let them just suffer in this material world, they never come. No, the Lord is saying that you don't unnecessarily spoil your spiritual life. Don't invite troubles unnecessarily, and don't make them offensive also by your, trying to get them. So sometimes they may become very disturbed and they may commit offense, they may go more away. So we keep that principle. So we should act in a way that we don't unnecessarily agitate them. That we should always try to take care. Like sometimes when we are traveling, we may be doing kirtan and we may be in our ecstasy, thinking that, oh, let others should also hear the kirtan. But they may become more disturbed sometimes. So we should be mindful. We shouldn't be like, unnecessarily agitating them like that. Or in home, like when I'd go to home in the beginning. So sometimes I'd not chant in front of my parents many times. I'd do that because I know that will unnecessarily disturb them. Disturb them means because, we understand them because they're not very much happy that this person will join and all, maybe something like that. So why to unnecessarily disturb them? Better to chant. Not like they are very bad people or something, but certainly we can do which, and we can do our, and some ways we can try to give them mercy also. Like we can give them prasadam which they can appreciate. We can sometimes Sometimes kirtan may be okay. They can do kirtan with them. Sometimes it depends. You have to check the pulse, what they like. Sometimes just take them to temple. You don't have to do kirtan at home, but take them to temple. There they may don't mind. They will not mind. That way they get some mercy. So we have to see the person and how we can, give them Krishna without unnecessarily agitating them, disturbing them. And as they are willing and they are able to take to Krishna consciousness, then they will appreciate, then they will come in the fold of devotional service. It's okay now?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. But I don't know, this thing came up, but I don't know, like, even those people at some point later, probably not in this life, probably in next life, they, they might realize that I could have listened, or I could have lead a better life. That regret, that regret will come later, but at this moment they cannot commit. But at this point they cannot commit, but at that point in the future they are regretting.
That
You
is
see
true.
that difference, Prabhu? That's all
I do.
material influence. Yeah.
That is true. And actually, it happens to us also. Like we may be, going in our Krishna Consciousness the way we are doing. Later, when we realize, oh my God, then we'll think, Arey, why I wasted so much of time? I could have done so much more. Even for us also, it is true to some extent with that way. And of course, they will also feel like that. That's true. Because then they will be grateful. Arey, actually, that was good only that devotee was telling like this to me. I did not listen. Yeah, that's true. And rather I behaved like this. People will realize that. As they become Krishna conscious, they come to Krishna conscious, later they will realize it. That's true. But because right now they are not ready, so we have to also be mindful and careful. Like a child, no? Child in the beginning is not grateful for the parents sending him to school. Right? You have to do that, but with sensitivity. But later when the child grows up, then he becomes grateful. He says, oh, good that my parents pushed me a little bit. But they were sensitive also. So that is how, it is. The person doesn't understand that. Correct, no? Prabhu?
Yeah.
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 So we have to preach, we have to try to help, but we have to also be a bit sensitive also. Sensitive, not like we dilute the philosophy, but we have to be sensitive to the person in a way that I should develop appreciation for Krishna consciousness, not become so agitated, disturbed, commit offenses and go away. We should try to, we should make sure that it's not happen that way. Okay, Mai Sarvani Karmani Sanyasdhyaत्मचेतसा निराशे निर्ममो भूत्वा युध्यस्व विगतज्वरः. Translation. Yeah, Virat, bro, Praveen,
Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me, with full knowledge of me, without desire for profit, with no claims of proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight.
yeah, it's very powerful. This whole translation book is very, very powerful. So you can read also.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This verse clearly
I'm sorry.
indicates the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord instructs that one has to become fully Krishna conscious to discharge duties, as if in military discipline. Such an injunction may make things a little difficult. Nevertheless, duties must be carried out with dependence on Krishna, because that is the constitutional position of the living entity. The living entity cannot be happy independent of the cooperation of the Supreme Lord, because the eternal constitutional position of the living entity is to become subordinate to the desires of the Lord. Arjuna was therefore ordered by the Sri Krishna to fight as if the Lord were his military commander. One has to sacrifice everything for the goodwill of the Supreme Lord, and at the same time discharge prescribed duties without claiming proprietorship. Arjuna did not have to consider the order of the Lord. He had only to execute his order. The Supreme Lord is the soul of all souls. Therefore, one who depends solely and wholly on the Supreme Soul, without personal consideration, or in other words, one who is fully Krishna conscious, is called Adhyatma Chetas. Nirasihi means that one has to act on the order of the master, but should not expect fruitive results. The cashier may count millions of dollars for his employer, but he does not claim a cent for himself. Similarly, one has to realize that nothing in the world belongs to any individual person, but that everything belongs to Supreme Lord. That is the real purport of my or unto me. And when one acts in such Krishna consciousness, certainly he does not claim proprietorship over anything. This consciousness is called nirmama, or nothing is mine. And if there is any reluctance to execute such a stern order, which is without consideration of so called kinsmen in the bodily relationship, that reluctance should be thrown off. In this way, one may become vigata jvara, or without feverish mentality or lethargy. Everyone, according to his quality and position, has a particular type of work to discharge, and all such duties may be discharged in Krishna consciousness, as described above. That will lead one to the path of liberation.
Very nice purport, no, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
You want to reflect a little bit on the point?
Yeah. So whatever the acts, whatever the words, whatever the duties, actions, we should tie that to as if like we are giving that actions to the Lord. We are thinking that I'm acting behalf of the Lord, or we should think that it's Lord, it's Lord Sri Krishna told me to do. That's why I was doing like that. So, and sometimes even though it is painful to do or it is lethargic to do, we should have to give up that attitude and just do it as like Krishna told to do. Like even Arjuna don't want to fight. Krishna is telling to Arjuna, like Krishna is his military commander, go and fight. So like that we have to execute thinking that everything belongs to the Lord. We are just acting on behalf of the Lord. And my action is little service to him. Like that we think and do.
Yeah, Prabhu. Very important point. Actually, there is a very easily we can become proud of anything we do because we think that I am doing, like previously the verses was explaining. Previously that was Ahankara Vimudhatma. So even in devotional service also, no, we may think like that. Oh, I am doing so many things like that. So that's again a trap. So that is one thing. And second thing is, another thing is that when you have any kind of difficulty or any kind of considerations or any reluctance which is coming up to execute the order of the Lord or the service is what we have got. Like we have to get up in the morning, we have to chant our rounds. So one should not allow that also because one should know that this is order of Krishna. Let me do it for the Lord. So otherwise I will be acting for Maya. So this is Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness has both the things. Means you do activities and don't claim that you are the doer. It is how Lord has made you do things. When it comes to some kind of reluctance, then you do it. You don't allow it to be lethargic. You don't give any kind of looseness in that. But do it because Lord wants you to do it, like that. So there is a sense of you doing it, because there's a free will. But when you do it, you know that it is not you, it is Krishna. Because of Krishna, he is giving you strength, Krishna is giving you energy, Krishna is blessing you. With the grace of the Lord, you're able to perform certain things. You're getting at this point. So both things are there. You have to do and then give up any kind of letharginess, any kind of reluctance feelings. Don't care about all that. And when you, after doing it, don't take credit. Don't think that you have done it. No, it is Krishna who has allowed you to do. Krishna has empowered. Krishna has helped you. So this is very nice consciousness. Yeah. So nothing in the world belongs to any individual person. Everything belongs to Krishna. That is another. This is what purport of my and to me. Nirmama, nothing is mine. Cashier example is very good. So not expect anything. So on behalf of Krishna, I'm acting. So nothing you have to claim. Somebody comes and says, you very nicely you spoke or very whatever, then we should just think that that's not me, it's Krishna who has allowed me to do some things. Some devotional service. Yes, we feel fortunate. And we aspire to continue devotional service like that. And if somebody says, oh, you have done very bad and what is this, no, you progress, then we should want to see that how we can improve ourselves. Quality for devotional service. So we beg the mercy of Krishna. Oh Krishna, you please help me, by which I can improve my devotional service. Like that we can think. So we should be very simple like that. ये मे मतमिदं नित्यम् अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवा श्रद्धावान अनुसूयन्तो मुच्यन्ते तेपि कर्मभिः. Translation. Go ahead, Prabhu. Praveen, go.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow this teaching faithfully without envy become free from bondage of fruitive actions. Purport. The injunction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the essence of all Vedic wisdom and therefore is eternally true without exception. As the Vedas are eternal, so this truth of Krishna consciousness is also eternal. One should have firm faith in the injunction without envying the Lord. There are many philosophers who write comments on the Bhagavad Gita but have no faith in Krishna. They will never be liberated from the bondage of fruitive action. But an ordinary man with firm faith in the eternal injunctions of the Lord, even though unable to execute such orders, becomes liberated from the bondage of the law of karma. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, one may not fully discharge the injunctions of the Lord, but because one is not resentful of this principle and works sincerely without consideration of defeat and hopelessness, he will surely be promoted to the stage of pure Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Nice purport, actually. Very nice point. So Lord is telling Anusuyanto means not envious. No? That means he's not resentful. He's not envying the Lord. Faithfully, he's trying to follow. So those who execute their duties according to my injunctions and follow his teaching faithfully, so they come free from the bondage of fruitive action. So he says, what Lord is saying is the essence of everything. So Krishna consciousness is eternal, and one should have firm faith in that injunction of the Lord without envying the Lord. So in Prabhupada is also saying that many people write commentaries on Gita and everything, but because the envy means they don't present the Lord's mood as it is. They don't have affection for the Lord. They are rather envying the Lord. They may use that Lord's thing, and instead of glorifying the Lord, they are defying the Lord's personality. That is enviousness. Envious person will harm the other person. So here also he is actually defaming the Lord, or is misrepresenting the Lord. He is Prabhupada says sometimes, don't kill my Krishna. Prabhupada said like that. Killing Krishna means what? Nobody can kill Krishna, but they're trying to cover Krishna's real position as Supreme Personality. And people that way become more and more bereft of understanding of Krishna. What we speak of knowing the glories of Krishna. That is very bad. This sign of envy. If we are not envious, then we will take the teachings as it is from Guru Parampara. We present Krishna as Krishna is. So when ordinary man with firm faith in the Lord, even though sometimes he may not be able to execute such orders, there may be some difficulty, but still he will be able to progress. He will become free from the bondage of karma. Yeah, because he has a faith in the internal injunction of the Lord. So it sometimes may be difficulty, he may not be able to execute because of some reason. Yeah, so he says because one may be, in the beginning, one may be having certain difficulties and conditionings and all this stuff, but because one is not resentful, he is faithful. He is not envying. He feels that, oh, I need to improve, I'm not following properly, oh Lord, give me mercy. Like that, this is his mood. And he works sincerely, without defeat and hopelessness. So then he will be promoted to the stage of pure Krishna consciousness. And you can see also those boys, those who keep this humble attitude, no, they don't become upset and angry. A certain discipline is told to them, some punishment will be given to them. They don't become angry. They take it. They don't become resentful. Then they take it as a purification. They understand that I'm not able to do, because of I'm very new to Krishna consciousness and I have so many other thoughts. They feel that responsibility of misusing the free will, and I'm not. I've been covered so much, so I'm not able to follow. And sometimes they may be given some chastisement or some punishment or some kind of discipline. So they don't become resentful. They understand that, oh, I need to improve. I mean, nobody gives punishment, for the sake of torturing. Like I'm saying, in terms of, suppose sometimes you put in voice writing Mahamantra, if you get up, if you come late for the Mangalarti and all that. So people take it in a very nice spirit. They understand that, oh, I'm not able to follow, let me do it for my purification. So there's no resentfulness is not there. So that is very good actually. And you can see those boys now who are grateful, not resentful. Like sometimes here also in temple, when boys come for service, but then sometimes they may start calculating, oh, I know I am doing this much seva, and he's doing less, he's doing more. Sometimes they start calculating, comparing, and sometimes they may take it like this task. Oh, because I have to take prasadam, so I have to do that much service. So I'll just finish it and then take it. So sometimes they become very calculative, like that. Sometimes it must happen. So, and then they may feel sometimes grudge also. They grudgingly do it. Say, hey, why you have to do it? Like that sometimes. So there is, so, so they don't, so that affection for the Lord and gratitude is very important. So I have to do the seva with some kind of affection for the Lord of devotees. And even if sometimes it may be burdening you or something like that, we don't become resentful. We understand, okay, maybe I can I can clarify my situation. I can talk to superiors. But you're happy to be engaged in service of the Lord. You're not resentful. अरे मेरे को use कर लिया, मेरे को इतना power passing करा दिया. So we don't become resentful. Yes, service to the Lord only. What is wrong? Okay, we can humbly clarify and explain our situation. That is all right. So you can see those devotees can get help also. Somebody who does grudgingly calculative, there is sign of some kind of envy towards the Lord. There's no affection for the Lord. So very important. So one should not be resentful for this principle. Work sincerely without consideration if you know hopeless. Surely you will promote it to stage of Krishna consciousness. Any reflection on this? Very cool. Everybody. Okay, let's move forward. ये त्वरेतद् अभ्यासयन्तो नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतं सर्वज्ञानविमूढातांस् विमूढांस् तान् विद्धि नास्तानचेतसः. Translation.
But those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The flaw of not being Krishna conscious is clearly stated herein. As there is punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Executive Head, so there is certainly punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A disobedient person, however great he may be, is ignorant of his own self and of the Supreme Brahman, Paramatma, and the Personality of Godhead due to a vacant heart. Therefore, there is no hope of perfection of life for him.
Yeah. Who left the meeting?
Gurukul, I think Dheeraj Prabhu.
Oh, Dheeraj Prabhu was there. Oh, okay. Okay. The flaw of not being Krishna is clearly stated here. There is punishment for disobedience to the order of the Lord, order of the Supreme Leader. So there is certainly punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Personality of God. So how great we may be, he was ignorant of his own self and of the Supreme Brahman and all that. Because I can't have it. Okay. Yeah, so when we have no affection for the Lord, when we are kind of envious, so when we don't take the teachings, then we become void in our heart. Mm. And our life is completely ruined. There's no hope of perfection of life actually. So it's very dangerous. So bit after knowledge before rule of the end. So become very hollow actually, very hollow and vacant. So the so-called greatness doesn't help you. They will remain vacant in there. So I will just take a 5 minute break, Prabhu, and then we'll come back.
Okay, bro. So today reading is until
7:45. Is that okay for you?
yeah.
We kept it like 6 to 7:45. And then we kept. Okay, we'll
Okay.
meet up. Yes, Praveen bro, you can read now. तदृशं चेष्टते स्वस्य प्रकृते ज्ञानवानपि प्रकृतिं यान्ति भूतानि निग्रह किं करिष्यति. Can you read the translation? Hare Krishna. Are you there? Praveen Prabhu? Virat Prabhu, you can read? Yeah. कहाँ से लेके आए?
वो यही आपका पैकेट था, गलत है क्या? इसमें 4 था, उसमें 3।
ठीक है. कल का भागवतम क्लास का देख लेना प्रभु. Hare Krishna. Virat Prabhu, can you read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, translation. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? Purport. Unless, purport. Unless one is situated on the transcendental platform of Krishna consciousness, he cannot get free from the influence of the modes of material nature, as it is confirmed by the Lord in the 7th chapter. Therefore, even for the most highly educated person on the mundane plane, it is impossible to get out of the entanglement of Maya simply by theoretical knowledge or by separating the soul from the body. There are many so called spiritualists who outwardly pose as advanced in the science, but inwardly or privately are completely under particular modes of nature, which they are unable to surpass. Academically, one may be very learned, but because of his long association with material nature, he is in bondage. Krishna consciousness helps one get out of the material entanglement, even though one may be engaged in his prescribed duties in terms of material existence. Therefore, without being fully in Krishna consciousness, one should not give up his occupational duties. No one should suddenly give up his prescribed duties and become a so called yogi or transcendentalist artificially. It is better to be situated in one's position and try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. Thus, one may be freed from the clutches of Krishna's Maya.
Hare Krishna. So what is saying is, technically one will be very learned, but because of his long association with material nature, is in bondage. Krishna consciousness helps one to get out of the material entanglement, even though one may be engaged in prescribed duties in terms of material existence. Without being Krishna conscious fully, one should not give up his occupational duties. No one should suddenly give up his prescribed duties and become so-called yogi or transcendental artificial. It is better to be situated in one's position and try to attain Krishna consciousness and the spirit training. One does not be free from the touch of Krishna energy. So that's how, like Raisham gives example, no? Suppose a shawl is on the thorn, gets stuck. One should not abruptly take out the shawl or utari. It may get torn. Gradually one has to pick it out. So what does this mean? That we should not inspire the people just give up. Inspire the person to take up Krishna consciousness. Well, naturally, some people will be able to take it up, and then they may want to join full time, want to shave up. Then we will welcome them, and then also they have prescribed duties within Brahmacharya ashram also. Not like we just tell them, okay, the whole day you sit in seclusion and meditate and chant. We're giving them so much dynamic engagement. So it requires superior guidance, superior training. So So it's not wrong if somebody gives up his job and joins, provided he is looking for that kind of Krishna conscious engagements. And he's inspired like that. Otherwise, sometimes now, like one person, he was asked, he told that I want to join. But okay, stay for some time and see. So he was basically frustrated from his job situation and all that. And said, like, I want to give up everything and join. He stayed for some time, 1 week, 2 weeks. So I want to go. Because he just came out of frustration. Then that may not help sometimes. It may help sometimes also. But some may get some taste in Krishna consciousness and he can stay also. Can happen. But the point is, the factor to join should not be simply out of frustration. It should be desire to serve the mission. And so one should come with that motive. I want to be fully with Krishna. Somebody will be inspired like that. Wonderful thing. And then there also have prescribed duties. They're not expected to be with Krishna in the sense that 24 hours you just keep chanting only. That we are not expecting. So that you meet at Haridas Thakur and do like that. Somebody can do that, glorious. But you should have desire to be fully engaging in Krishna service. That is the motivation for somebody who should come for joining ashram. So that is good. What is not encouraged is that somebody, some frustration is coming, wanted to give all the prescribed duties. And he doesn't want so much of Krishna consciousness also. He has own things. He wants to have to so many ways. Won't come for morning program and many things. That may not be so good then. So then the person can gradually develop his taste and practice. So depending upon one's situation, one should pick it up. And the superiors can guide and help how one can progress based on one's willingness and desires and situations. How you want to progress in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Any questions on this? Praveen Prabhu or anyone? Virat Prabhu? Anyone?
It's very nice purport, Prabhu, because like people think, okay, everyone force them to Krishna consciousness. But here they say one should not give up his occupational duty just because I'm doing Krishna consciousness. So that's
Yeah, correct. One can purify. We can do the duties for Krishna's pleasure. Objective one doesn't have to.
everyone should be like get rid of their material propensities of material propensities, then only they should consider us to be fully in Krishna consciousness.
So there is two ways to understand it. One is, yeah, that's true. At the same time, it depends on the readiness and the faith of the person. It is not that everybody has to undergo the same kind of prescribed duty. But it depends upon the eagerness and the faith and conviction of the person. So somebody is having that kind of faith and conviction and eagerness to serve, then he qualifies for, sometimes, like that's why I was telling this, some people may join also ashram. You know, they may give up in the young age, they can give up family, they can give up the job. So why? Because that phase they can come. But suppose you force somebody, okay, you join, give up your job, you come. Out of force, that may not work.
They're
Correct, no?
not ready.
Huh?
They won't be ready to give up because they should
That's the point.
understand and
Yeah, that's the
realize.
point. Yes. That's why we don't tell anybody to join. We say you decide. It's your call.
Some people
You-
misunderstand that little, they know little and they think, okay, this is it. Krishna consciousness is only this much.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
that's
also
why I can also.
Yeah, some people, they know little and they think that, okay, this is it. Krishna consciousness, I can also do it. I can practice. They assume that they know, they got all full knowledge.
Yeah, that's why one should see himself, like kind of stay with devotees and see how he's able to practice and go ahead.
Yes.
So not just by just one day coming, I felt nice, so I'm listening here. Sometimes maybe good. There are some proper disciples came to temple first time only, they just left. They remain in temple only. They're still there. But in general, one can see. So basically, no, nothing by force has to happen. One has to see himself and is able to, sign up and ready and eager. Nice. Wonderful. But if you say forcefully somebody, just give up and join and force them. Inspiration is different, the force is different. It doesn't work. One has to give the person choice. And as you said, he should see that for what he is coming for. If he's coming with the right understanding, right motive, and understanding that yes, I want to fully engage in Krishna's service, having that intention, nice. Doesn't matter what kind of coverings and all you may be having, but you have sincere desire. You're ready, then it is possible by the grace of Guru and Krishna. That's why proper time, so many came, they could stay and they can continue. They could continue for, they get into mission to Prabhupada. How? Even though they came from a difficult background, because they became that eager. They came with that faith in goodness. Yeah. So for such a person who is able to do that, then and then forcing him to continue his prescribed, no, you should do job only. That is another kind of wrong thing. You understand? Sometimes some boys want to join, but parents are forcing, no, you should work only. That is also not good. So there is another violence. So that's why, as per the one's adhikar, as per one's situation, it should be facilitated. It should be facilitated. That's why training. That's why superior training is required. Superior guidance is required. Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, Prabhu. Even at the beginning, when I came to Krishna consciousness, got to know, it was very hard to understand why we need to chant so many times and why we need to do service. People does not, everyone cannot understand why we need to do service. Only when we go through, like see someone, observe, analyze, then only we understand all these things.
Yeah. That's why a good time So sometimes continuous practice of Krishna consciousness can help us, and some superiors also should be able to see us. Then they can guide us like that. Yeah, any doubt you have, Praveen Prabhu, Virat Prabhu?
Not doubt, Prabhu. Had this thing. So you said what's the intent and motive, then only before coming. But NOD says the devotional life starts with some attraction to any of the devotional activities. For me also, honestly speaking, uh, I I was attracted. I was attracted to the way the philosophy is being discussed. My first encounter of the lecture is with Radhesham Prabhu only. When I came to Boston for my masters, then Radhesham Prabhu also visited and he gave it. So uh, honestly, I don't know how much depth of the philosophy I appreciated that, but I like the way how philosophy is being given. I like the prasadam. I like the music. You know, my intentions and motives right now are completely very like they are not even there when I initially came. It's just all some kind of attraction. Devotees' attitude. Yes, I like them. They are understanding, caring. Uh, s- Honestly, Prabhu, my initial years it holds me only by attraction. I was attracted to things. I was satisfied at heart. Mm, the things. But regarding the intent and motives, once once we proceed in the path with commitment and with little determination and with some faith, you know, those it helped me to it helped me to see my motives and intent. At the same time, it helped me to purify my motive and intent also. So what I'm telling is my initial stage, it only by attraction it happened. But later, I worked on my intentions and motives. Just in my case, I'm telling. Because when we're reading NOD also, it says, some kind of attraction. It says the devotional service starts by some kind of attraction. So, uh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a small reflection from my side.
Good point, Pawan. That's why when we come in the beginning, then we stay for, when we start practicing Krishna consciousness. That's why we can more observe what's my motivation, and we rectify, purify our intentions. And that's how when we are trying to join the ashram, that time we have to be more careful to see what's my motive, what's my intention. Because we come with the right kind of motive and intention, then you'll be going forward nicely. So that's why it is important. So there's no hurry also. One can take his time and practice Krishna consciousness and see his intentions and motive and rectify and purify it, make it more proper, develop conviction, develop more sincerity and desire. One can do that, under the superior guidance. Superiors also should be watching how the person is and what is his sincerity, eagerness. That's why it's a kind of constant, uh, like mentor and mentee in the company also. Both sides, there should be mutual. Like mentee should be able to tell what is how it's happening. Mentor should be able to observe and timely guide and help, so they understand each other better. And because the person who is experienced, he understands, he has more experience, so he can also help him understand. Okay, this is how it should be, and that should be the right. Okay, this is the right attitude. Many things gets clarified, and then so joining doesn't happen like suddenly you come and one day you give up job and join. When you have to join, then you have to live in the spirit as a brahmachari, even before joining as well. You have to live like that. And when you are at some point of time, you have to give up the job. That's all. Meaning your heart is already there. That is the right kind of situation for someone joining. Your already heart is gone. And you're just doing some duties to complete, and you give up at one point of time and you just join. Like that should be. That is ideal. So, so that's why we should, if we have some desire to join the ashram also, then we should situate ourselves in a situation where they are engaged like that as a brahmachari, as part of morning program and reading and hearing and live like a spirit like that. And then then you can clearly see, your lifestyle, your intentions, and everything is in place like that. And then you want to continue that way. And then other things like 8 hours of job, 9 hours of job, that can be reduced, and that can be part of seva. Then services come up. Instead of that, then you direct services. And that's what you're happy about. When I was there, I would always think that, 6 hours of physics I'm teaching. If I'd be teaching Gita, it would be so nice. You can imagine I teach 6 hours. 5 or 6 hours I have to speak sometime. So now I have opportunity to speak on Gita. So sometimes that day Saturday, I think last Saturday I have tough also. I think around 5 hours, more than 5 hours I was in the sessions. It's good. It's all spiritual. So physics can be replaced with this, but and morning program is there. Same morning program before also, now also. So same sadhanas, some kind of similar sadhana like reading, hearing, chanting, something that so only things have increased, but we have that kind of I'm saying that kind of lifestyle and spirit and intent has to come before you actually move indirectly. That is the healthy way to do it. So because initial attraction is good for everyone, this everybody comes with some attraction, but we have to stay for long and see what ashram and everything. Then we have to also see our overall situation and intentions and attitudes and all that. It has to be evaluated by you and your superior, and then accordingly one should further move forward. Does it clarify, Prabhu? I mean your reflection, but I'm just giving some additional points.
Yes, Prabhu. I mean,
Okay. So, text 34. Indriyasthendriyarthe yagadvesho vyavasthito taryon vishamagaccheto yasya paripantino. Yeah, read the translation. Going to.
there are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self realization.
Yeah, so attachment and aversion both are bad. Yeah. So
Purport.
we should not be averse both.
Purport special Prabhupada. Those who are in Krishna consciousness are naturally reluctant to engage in material sense gratification. But those who are not in such consciousness should follow the rules and regulations of the revealed scriptures. Unrestricted sense enjoyment is the cause of material engagement.
Engagement.
But one
Same thing.
but one but
Engagement.
one who follows the rules and regulations of revealed scriptures does not become entangled by the sense objects. For example, sex enjoyment is a necessity for conditioned soul, and sex enjoyment is allowed under the license of marriage ties. According to scriptural injunctions, one is forbidden to engage in sex relationships with any woman other than one's wife. All other women are to be considered as one's mother. But in spite of such injunctions, a man is still inclined to have sex relationships with other women. These propensities are to be curbed. Otherwise, they'll be stumbling blocks on the path of self realization. As long as the material body is there, the necessities of the material body are allowed, but under the rules and regulations. And yet, we should not rely upon the control of such allowances. One has to follow those rules and regulations unattached to them, because the practice of sense gratification under regulations may also lead one to go astray. as much as there is always the chance of an accident, even on the royal roads. Although there may be very carefully maintained, no one can guarantee that there will be no danger even on the safest road. The sense enjoyment spirit has been current a very long time owing to material association. Therefore, in spite of regulated sense enjoyment, there is every chance of falling down. Therefore, any attachment for regulated sense enjoyment must also be avoided by all means.
Mhm.
But attachment to Krishna consciousness or acting always in the loving service of Krishna detaches one from all kinds of sensory activities. Therefore, no one should try to be detached from Krishna consciousness at any stage of life. The whole purpose of detachment from all kinds of sense attachment is to ultimately become situated on the platform of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. So Prabhupada very beautifully explains the whole thing. Uh, so of course, Prabhupada also write that somebody can avoid. So scriptures do encourage. Somebody can avoid sex life altogether. So scriptures do encourage that also. But if not, then there is certain dharmic way one can you know eventually get purified also, and well, that's a sacred tie of marriage, something like that. So the purpose here says this is just in general like that. We've been told for the conditioned soul, but there are yes, conditioned soul can also can avoid also. That's how scriptures also do encourage. That also is there. So and Prabhupada brings a beautiful point that whether regulator or whatever the rules or regulations, but sun gratification is always dangerous path. That's why a devotee should live and renounce the spirit. That's very important. Because the nature of sun gratification is that the one can get carried away. So that's a always risk, the path of sun gratification. That's why Vairagya Vidya, our whole process of Krishna consciousness is path of detachment. So even when somebody is within a situation where he has certain rules and regulation, but there is some gratification license within Krishna consciousness, then also one should be careful. One should not become attached to that also. One should be ready to forego. Like say prasadam. So yeah, so you're allowed to eat prasadam, different nice varieties of prasadam, tasty prasadam. But if suppose temple is having some budget issues and all, even some simple khichdi prasadam, we should be happy to take it. One shouldn't remain attached to that. So any kind of attachment to some gratification is always risky. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. Because one should develop his attachment to Krishna. That's the main thing. Whether anybody, Brahmachari, sannyasi, everybody has to become attached to Krishna. That's how this should be the prime focus of one's life. How can I become more and more attached to Krishna? That should be prime focus. And reduce one's son's gratificatory programs as much as possible. Make it to minimum, if possible, nil. Nil is not like nil may be difficult because you have to take some prasadam and all that. But your renounced temperament becomes so overwhelming, then it's as good as no sanskrit can exist in your life. Then, like that, you may be eating prasadam, may be tasty, but you don't have any attachment to enjoy your senses. You want to simply be busy in serving Krishna. So your attachment to Krishna is overwhelming. So that makes you having renounced temperament. So prasadam is tasty. Sometimes it may not be. So it's simple. Okay, you just take it and continue serving Krishna. It becomes like that. It's not of much importance for you then. So you can renounce temperament. I read this last purport. 35 at least we have covered this. And then we can start from 36 tomorrow. Shreyanso dharmo vikuna paradharmansu distat dharme nidhanam shreyas paradharmo bhayavaha. Read the translation.
It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties even though faultily than others' duties perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in others' duties. For to follow another's path is dangerous. Purport. One should therefore discharge his prescribed duties in full Krishna consciousness rather than those prescribed for others. Materially prescribed duties are duties enjoined according to one's psychophysical condition under the spell of the modes of material nature. spiritual duties are as ordered by the spiritual master for the transcendental service of Krishna. But whether material or spiritual, one should stick to his prescribed duties even up to the death, rather than imitate others' prescribed duties. Duties on the spiritual platform and the duties on the mental platform may be different, but the principle of following the authorized direction is always good for the performer. When one is under the spell of the modes of material nature, one should follow the prescribed rules for his particular situation and should not imitate others. For example, a Brahmana who is in the mode of goodness and is non-violent, whereas Kshatriya who is in the mode of passion is allowed to be violent. As such, for a Kshatriya, it is better to be vanquished to following the rules of violence than to imitate a Brahmana who follows the principles of non-violence. Everyone has to cleanse his heart by gradual process, not abruptly. However, one transcends the modes of material nature and is fully situated in Krishna consciousness. He can perform anything and everything under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. In that complete stage of Krishna consciousness, the Kshatriya may act as a Brahmana or a Brahmana may act as a Kshatriya. In the transcendental stage, the distinctions of the transcendentally situated, they could do so. But as
No, in the
long as
top
one
the
is
distinction of material world do not apply. See, it is said in the transcendental stage, the
in the
distinction.
transcendental, the distinction of the material world do not apply. For example, Vishwamitra was originally a Kshatriya, but later on he acted as a Brahmana, whereas Parashuram was a Brahmana, but later he acted as a Kshatriya. Being transcendentally situated, they could do so. But as long as one is on the material platform, he must perform his duties according to the modes of material nature. At the same time, he must have a full sense of Krishna consciousness.
Hmm. Very. They could do so, but as long as one is a material platform, he must perform his duties according to modes of material. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. So I think we'll pause here. We can discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow, shall we meet at 5:30 to 7:30? Does it work for you, Praveen Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, I can do.
Okay. Others, this is fine. 5:30 to 7:30. Purna Mataji, Aarti Mataji, is it okay for you?
I will.
Hmm?
For
I can
me,
also.
Oh, one at a time. It's difficult to hear both together. One of you first. No, nobody's speaking.
Prabhu, I cannot attend till 7:30.
You can
4:30
attend
maybe.
You can attend till 7:30. I could not understand what you said.
Oh, I cannot attend till 7:30. I can only attend till 6.
Not able to understand. Oh, okay. Till 6 you can attend, but basic. You are saying you can attend till 6, right? That's the point.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. And what about you, Mataji?
I don't know, Prabhu.
Oh,
It depends upon my uh, guest or someone, because yes, tomorrow was a holiday, so I don't know. Maybe or may not be, both.
okay. No problem. Okay, let us keep it. Let's see.
I will hear.
Record.
If I miss, I will hear that recording.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Abhay Prabhu, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.